Welcome to the High Performance Interviews. I'm here today with the gorgeous Kim Sorrell, who is all about love and its meaning and how it can work in your life. And so, Kim, I'd love to bring you to the stage and ask you a little bit about yourself and where you are calling in from.
Sure, yeah. So I'm in Michigan in the kind of north center of the United States. And I started my first business when I was 18. I've been an entrepreneur my whole life. Life circumstances sometimes make your path go in a different direction. And that's what happened with me. And I love life. I'm a grandma, a mom, and I love people. That's that's who I am.
Yeah, I love that. I love that it's the human part, right? It's not the list of all of the accolades that you've got. It's this is who I am. I'm a mum. I'm a grandmum. And that's absolutely beautiful. And so you said you've been an entrepreneur all of your life. Now, I can really relate to that because I'm an ex-dancer. So I was an entrepreneur as well all of my life and self-employed. And a lot of people are like, oh, that would be my dream, would be an entrepreneur, or I'm dabbling a little bit. So how come you have been an entrepreneur for the whole of your life? Were your parents entrepreneurs as well, Kim?
Yeah, my parents were entrepreneurs. And so I came by it quite naturally. And although none of my kids are, which is interesting,
Mm.
but I think there is a certain mentality, a certain mindset, a certain way that we process things as entrepreneurs. There's a lot of people that I used to think anybody could be an entrepreneur, like anybody could do this. And then I realized it's not true. It takes a little bit of insanity, takes a whole lot of gumption, right? But some people are just happier and better off punching a clock and getting the paycheck than they are creating a paycheck for everybody else. There's a lot of pressure in that and whatever. And it's not for everybody, which is good because we couldn't all be entrepreneurs. So it works out.
It certainly does. What did your parents do?
My dad started a plastic bag manufacturing company.
Ooh.
So yeah, so that's what he was doing. And he had that until I was 17. He sold it and went into a different business, into real estate. And so we had a plastic bag machine in our basement. So he had a big plant, but we had a machine in our basement. And if we wanted money to go to the movies or go out to eat, go out with friends, we needed to make bags to earn enough money to then go do those things. So yeah, which is pretty smart on their part, really.
Very smart. Yes, I love that because it's if you want that, then you earn it. And this is how you earn it because that helps them as well. Beautiful. I love that. And it gives you that mentality. It's like you can't just do that and money comes.
Absolutely. Yeah. Money is earned. And yes,
Yeah.
so it was good that we were taught that for sure. And I think it made us all, I've got two older brothers and we're all like 1 year apart. So we're really close in age and they're both entrepreneurs and they're, I don't know, it's crazy when we all get together just because we all talk business and we all talk whatever strategies and I don't know, whatever, instead of talking about how are the kids doing or you going to that baseball game tomorrow, whatever. So anyway, but it's fun.
I was going to say it's completely different energy. It's because you're excited about what you do, whereas somebody is in a job might be just like, I don't really want to talk about work, or I just want to complain about work.
Yes, yeah, yeah, true.
And so you said your mom was an entrepreneur as well. So was
Yes,
she in the plastic bag industry too, or completely
yeah.
different? She
She,
was.
no, she was. She worked with my dad. So really, they started the company. It was the both of them. My dad had been a salesman for a bag company before he started his own. And so then, yes, she was part of the business the whole time.
Fantastic. And then you said you've been an entrepreneur for your whole life. So what was the first thing that you did and how old were you?
The first thing I did besides selling Girl Scout cookies, and I would win, which I loved always winning. So I worked hard at selling Girl Scout cookies so that I made enough to get that pin, whatever, it was such a treasure. But my first real entrepreneurial experience was we were going to fourth grade camp. So I was 9 years old and we had to earn money for camp for our school. And my dad had the plastic bag company And so he said, okay, here, you sell trash bags and you sell these bags that can be used for book bags. It's before kids were carrying backpacks. I'm older than that. And so you sell these and you sell these and this much. And I sold a ton of bags. I went from classroom to classroom. The teachers were all buying trash bags. The students were all buying book bags. And so after a couple of weeks of selling and delivering and whatever, I sat down with my dad and he said, okay, so, let's settle up the money. And I said, okay. And what I didn't realize was the number he gave me was actually the number he needed from me for the bags. And I thought it was what I was supposed to charge. So I ended up making nothing in all that time.
Oh,
I know. So I totally misunderstood, but it was such a good lesson because I'm sure he explained it to me and all I heard were these numbers. And so I learned to listen better and I learned that there's going to be a markup on things that the manufacturer's got to get what the manufacturer's got to get. And then you mark things up. And so then I went and sold a ton more and made a lot of money for the trip. So it worked out just fine.
oh my goodness, my heart just sank for you, Kim. Like, no.
Yeah, my heart sank at the time. I thought, oh, what did I do? But it really was a good lesson. And yeah, it worked out.
Oh, good. Yes. Yeah, these things happen to us. They happen to us for a reason. Wow. Oh, goodness. And so then where did you go from there? What happened after that?
Yeah, I did different things in school. It was always a way to make some money on the side. But my first real business when I was 18, I got a loan from the bank. My parents co-signed a $50,000 loan from the bank. And I bought this old furniture manufacturing building that was empty. And so I bought it and then leased space. And it was such a great business. And so then I bought another building. And before I knew it, I had millions of square feet and tons of tenants. But then I also bought land and made an 18-hole golf course and had fine dining and event facilities. And I had different things throughout the years, but that real estate, that rental business was really the first business that I had.
Wow. And did you have any training in that, or did you just learn as you went along?
I think if you can do business, you can do any business. I'm confident that any business there is out there, I can make work, I can do. And this, no, I had zero training, zero. But, and it's not like we were looking things up on the internet. And so I went to a lawyer to get a contract, to get a lease agreement, to make sure that was written right. And you just learn as you go. And that's what I did, learned as I went.
That is really so inspiring. So if there's somebody listening into this thinking, I would love to do something, but I don't know how. And like you say, there's lots of ways you can find out how now. And it is also going, well, who would know that? Who would know how to write a contract? Who would know how to insure a building? Who would know? And now it's about asking the right people and going, who is the who that I need to speak to down the line? Because yes, AI can give you some feedback or Google search or whatever it is that you're looking at to find out, yet you still need to find the person that is going to be right for you to work with to be able to put that plan into action.
Oh, so true. So
But
true. And so how much better is it we're actually working with people than it is Googling things,
oh yeah, yeah,
right? Yeah.
so much
Yeah.
better. Oh my goodness. I had this conversation yesterday at a meeting I was at. It was like, okay, what's everybody's thoughts on AI and, how it's taking over? And so everybody had their own opinions about it. And yeah, it's a very interesting conversation, but it always came back to the human element because you can't replace that with a machine because a machine is a machine.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And right, it absolutely cannot replace it, even though, from what I understand, there are teenage boys that have girlfriends, AI girlfriends. And so there's some of that going on where people are feeling like it's a relationship, but it will never be a real relationship. And like even when I go into chat or Claude, it's always so complimentary, right? Oh, good job, Kim. Oh, you wrote that so beautifully, whatever. And I don't think they're necessarily telling me the truth like a person would do. Right. So it is interesting, but right, the human element will never be replaced.
No, yeah. And I think that moves us really beautifully into what you went to study, which was the power of love, basically. So Just to explain to our audience how that came about and how you studied, where you studied, and what that's turned into for you, Kim, because I know that's a huge part of what you do now.
Yes, it is. It is actually, yeah, life circumstances, right? So I was diagnosed with breast cancer. And 4 months later, my husband was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer. And 6 weeks after that, he passed away. And we worked together. We coached together. I coached varsity sports for 25 years. Everything we did together. He worked for me in the business. He was our superintendent at the golf course. There was everything we did. And so we were pretty connected and we had a great marriage. And it was devastating losing him. And I was still going through my cancer journey at the same time. So it was crazy. And I just didn't know what was going to be the next thing. I was 47 years old and single. Never did I expect that. I thought we'd be in our 90s, sitting on a front porch, rocking, drinking lemonade or whatever people do in their 90s on the front porch. And all of a sudden, that dream was gone. That future vision was just gone. And so I had to figure out life. And I thought, shoot, I want to know that I'm doing it right. I want to honor my husband in every possible way, the way he honored me when he was alive. And so I want to know that I'm doing it right. And so I thought love is the highest frequency. You talk about living in the highest way possible, right? It's love. And so if I understood love then and lived love, then I would be doing it right. So I started investigating, and it's like you put 12 people in a room, you get 12 different answers to what is love. And so I thought I didn't see where anybody really did a deep dive into it to really figure out what love is. And so when I was ready to finally go back to work after going through surgeries and the stuff I had to go through with cancer, I was physically able to go back. And so my father and I had started a nonprofit organization 10 years before this. And the man that was running it, I ran into him. Hey, do you need any help? And he's sure. I said, what about bookkeeper, part-time bookkeeper? Because I wasn't sure if I wanted to dive right back into businesses. I had people running them. I didn't have to go back there. So I thought I'll take life slow and figure it out. So January 1st of that year, I started out as a part-time bookkeeper for the nonprofit. And 12 days later, there was an earthquake in Haiti that killed 200,000 people. So within 2 weeks, I was in Haiti. And then I spent at least part of every month for the next several years in Haiti working. And that is where I decided to figure out love. And so I decided I would dedicate a year to figuring out love in the midst of all this chaos and disruption and heartache and pain that was going on in Haiti. That's where I did it. And so I was going to dedicate a year to figuring out the true meaning of love. So I took this 2,000-year-old poem that you hear at all the weddings: love is patient, love is kind, does not boast, right, etc. We hear it so much here. I feel like my eyes glaze over when I hear it, right? But I thought, what is love that is patient? What is love that is kind? What do those things even mean? And so I decided I would take one word or phrase a month and really focus on it and figure out what are these things. And the first thing I figured out is there's 14 of them. So it actually took me a little longer than a year at one a month. But the things that I discovered, the things that came so clear to me, blew my mind, rocked my world, changed my life. If I would have stopped at the very first month, that was life changing. And there's 14 of them. And even just one was transformational.
Okay, I'm loving this so much. And I want to eat every one of those 14 months and bring them in to me. How did you discover? Where did you go looking? I know you're in Haiti there, but how did you look? So let's take the first one, for example. Show us what that looks like. Show us about the discovery of that first one, how that unfolded.
I just kept looking for it. I just kept, love is patient, love is patient. I just kept it on my mind all the time. Love is patient, love is patient. And I kept looking, and I thought it'd be easy because I know what patience is. You know what patience is, right? You're not yelling at their 5-year-old because they can't find their shoes and you're trying to get out the door. But love that is patient, what does that mean? And so I just kept looking for it and looking for it. And every single month, it took me till the end of the month that some big thing would happen. And I'd go, oh, finally, I get it. So with love that is patient, we had this debacle with a shipping container that came in. It was just this super long day that shouldn't have had to have happened, but because of the man that I was working with in Haiti, some things got messed up, and it was just this long day. And at the end of the day, I'm exasperated, and patience was not part of my day, but it was part of his day. He was so patient all along, and he never lost his cool. He never got upset about anything. He never whatever. And I thought, what is it? What is it that's different? Where's the difference here? And then I went, oh, now I get it. So love that is patient, you put love is or love is not in front of anything and it changes the meaning. So patience is one thing. Love that is patient, though, recognizes that this moment right here, right now, is the most important moment of your life. What's in the past is in the past. What's in the future is yet to come. This moment is the most important moment. So, whoever it is you're with, somebody at the grocery store, your spouse, your child, your best friend, your neighbor, whoever, you're giving them 100% of you, 100% of you. So, you're fully engaged and fully focused on what's going on. And I'll tell you, I stunk at this, Lucy. I was so bad. I thought I could be full conversation going and be thinking about who has to get to soccer practice, what I'm going to make for dinner that night, what meeting I had later, whatever. But I discovered that is not true. I am not that grand mind multitasker that I thought I was. And so when I stopped and recognized that this moment is going to go by with or without me, and if I'm going to show love in this moment, it is to be fully engaged in the moment. And when I practiced it and learned how to do this, everything changed. I heard things I never would have heard. And so much language is nonverbal. You're not paying attention to that if you're thinking about who's going to soccer practice. So I heard things more. And another thing that happened is I learned that I did a whole lot more listening than talking. And I didn't have my rebuttal ready, right? I wasn't thinking, oh, she's saying this. So as soon as she's done saying this, I'm going to say this. But I just listened, just listen. And that's love that is patient. And it's life changing.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, yes. I'm gonna say two things on this. One is, did you need to ask the guy who was being super patient how he got there? So that's the first question. And the second question, while it's still on my mind, is going back to the meeting that I was at yesterday evening. I remember part of one of the speeches was I learned to listen so that not so that I could respond. I learned to listen so that I could understand. And I think that's exactly what you're saying. Oh, that gives me chills. Okay, so going back to the first question.
Yeah. So Patrick is his name. And I didn't ask him because this is how Patrick always was. I just didn't necessarily recognize it until that moment. But just, he was always present in the moment. He never was worried about the future or worried about the past. He was present in the moment. And I think when you live in a country like Haiti, it is moment by moment living naturally because you don't really know if you're going to have food this day. There's so many people that live that way.
Mm.
So it is day to day life. It is right now in the moment. So in that way, it's people can be trained naturally to be that way because of circumstances. But he was that way because of his heart. He listened with his heart, and you knew he was listening to anything that you had to say. And I never asked him, he just showed me.
Yeah. And you were aware enough because you've been looking, your reticular activating system was out for patience. And it was like, where am I going to see this? Where am I going to find it? And suddenly there
Mm-hmm.
it was. Oh my goodness. And he sounds like my uncle, who unfortunately is no longer with us. And he would be so patient. He would never lift his voice and get upset about something. He was just so calm. And it sounds like Patrick is the same kind of man. It's such a beautiful thing to, if I could ever have that kind of patience and not lose my rag sometimes, because that doesn't feel good either. When you do that, it's, oh, that just feels bad to me. And it's, oh, I'm sorry, I lost my rag. And people go, oh, it doesn't matter. And I'm like, yeah, it does matter. Because now I can go, okay, now it's not, I wasn't in the moment with that person giving my all. So thank you for that gift. Beautiful. And so you've transitioned all the way. You've done different things. You've pulled different businesses together. You pulled them out of the hat. You know if you can succeed at something, you can succeed at something else. You have had downtimes, obviously, when your husband passed. What kept you going, Kim? Were there any structures or strategies that you were able to just kind of pull out of your toolbox and go, this is the thing, this is one of the things I kept saying to myself, or this is something that I did that allowed me to keep going through those sorts of times?
One thing that I did is keep in mind always that my life is up to me. You know, there's one thing that I learned about love is sometimes we think of love as being transactional, right? Like it's a two-way street or you got to give it to get it, whatever. But the reality is it's none of those things. Love is 100% on you. We think of love as an emotion or a feeling. Sometimes people will explain it that way. And it's not. I don't know about you, but if I watch a scary movie and I go to bed that night, I hear every creak, every bang, every bump, right? And I'm so afraid, hiding under the covers. But the next night is better because fear is an emotion and it comes and goes. Love does not come and go. Love is who you are. You walk it, talk it, live it, breathe it, give it. It is who you are. And when you expect anything in return for the love that you give, it's not love anymore. It's no longer love. It's a transaction. It's I give you money, you give me a pair of jeans, right? Love doesn't work that way. And we control nobody. So if you think you're controlling any love that comes your way, you're setting yourself up for heartache and disappointment because even though love is special in that you give it, typically you get it back, it doesn't always come back the way you think it's going to. And if you put this expectation on how it should come back, then you've blown it. Like then it's not love. You're just you have expectations. It becomes more transactional again. But the reality is you don't control anybody. You only control you. So love is 100% on you. Sometimes I think about like when you bring a baby home from the hospital and you decide when the baby eats, you have total control, right? You decide when the baby has a nap, when the baby has a bath, right? You're in control. But then 6, 7, 8 months later, your Tupperware is all over the kitchen floor, pots and pans are banging. You realize you've lost control, and I promise you never get it back again. You don't control anyone except yourself. So love is 100% on you to give. And when you look at love that way, when you have that understanding of love and you want to just give it, like there's nothing better than to just love. There's not a better gift you can give anybody than to love them. And it frees you to just love, to not put any parameters around it, to not put any fences or anything else. You're free to just love. And it's the best way to live.
Do you find you've come across people that find it hard to receive that kind of love, Kim? Or do you find when you're living in that kind of love that it naturally is taken on board? Have you noticed that?
Yeah, everybody's at a different place in life. That's one thing I always try to keep in mind is I've not walked in anybody else's shoes. And so people's opinions have been formed over 40, 50, 60 years of life, however old they are, right? People's way of doing things have been formed over that many steps, that many years, however old they are. And so often I think we want people to be more like us, or we do put expectations on people on how they should behave or how they should think or what they should believe. And none of that has anything to do with love because everybody's at a different place in life. Everybody's at a different point. And sure, you might get frustrated with people from time to time. And sure, you might not like something somebody does, but and love are two different things. And if you can separate them in your mind and realize the action, you might not like the action, but you love the person. Like just never withdraw love. And so I don't know if I'm really answering your question, but it's an interesting thing, love, because it's so interesting how we've screwed it up so much that it's ruined relationships because of what we thought it should be.
Yeah, yeah.
It's destroyed businesses because of what we thought it should be. It's destroyed relationships with customers or with staff because of our expectations, what we thought love looked like, or leaving love out entirely, thinking that when you get to work, you hang it up in the closet, or you get home and you throw it in the corner, and you don't ever. And so we've gotten so far away from leading with love, being people first in our leadership, And instead, we're bottom line first, or we're process first, we're strategy first instead of people first. And it changes everything. If you look at how people make decisions, if they're making decisions based on, we've got this policy in place. So we wrote this. So this is it. No wavering. Sometimes there are things that happen that you need to waver from that policy
Yeah.
because of this particular person. So when you lead people first, everything is better. People feel appreciated. Your customers want to work with you. People know when they're being heard. People know when they're being loved, know when they're being understood. So I really believe we need to bring love back as a principal tenet of business.
Here. I love that. I really do. And what you're talking about in part is those relationships, if they're intimate relationships as well, if we're just looking at that side of it, is I've been doing all of this for you, so I expect you to do this thing for me. And why aren't you doing that thing for me when I've done so much for you? Or do you realize how much I've done for you? If you don't want to do it, don't do it. If you're doing it from love, it like you say, it changes absolutely everything, doesn't it? So that is, yeah, that's gorgeous. I'm going to go back to a question that I asked you, and you jump forward to when you understood about love. So when your husband passed and you were going through that really tricky time with your own journey as well, Kim, before you knew all of that, was there something that you could dig into your toolbox at that stage and take out? Was there a saying? Was there something that you could pull out of the bag at that stage? Do you remember?
I'm writing a book on grief. I'm nearly done with it. And I'm writing it because grief is so misunderstood. And there were a lot of things I didn't know about grief. Like I thought I was going crazy because my brain was so foggy and I couldn't remember anything. Like, you know how you get a 6-digit code so often, like whatever, you're logging into something and then you get a 6-digit code that you have to put in. I would have to go back and forth. I could not remember 6 digits in a row. My mind was just gone.
Yeah.
It's normal. It's brain fog, which is so normal with grief, but nobody told me that. So I thought I was going nuts. So there were so many parts of going through that journey that there are things I wish I would have known. And some of it you just have to get through. There's days that it's hard to get out of bed, and other days that it's okay to get out of bed, but then you want to go back at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. I think of it as there was a weighted blanket on me. I think of grief that way, like this blanket that's completely covering you. And little by little, things happen. And at first, you're not going anywhere except underneath that blanket. But then after a little while, you stick out a hand, maybe you pull it back again, but maybe you put it back out again, and then another hand. And little by little, you don't get over it. I don't like it when people say that, frankly, because it's nothing you ever get over, but it is something you can get on top of. So, with me during that time, I just didn't know how to put it into words then, but I kept looking for ways to get on top of the grief, experience life again, to live again, to be in a place where my mind was clearer and I could think again and process. One of the biggest lessons I learned during that time was that service is the greatest healer of grief. So going to Haiti and serving, being outside of myself and helping other people healed my grief faster than anything else possibly could have. And I've never heard anybody say that before, but it's 100% true. It's just so true.
Mm, that's beautiful. This has been amazing. And I know that you already have a book out, and it sounds like the next one is just about to come out. Is there something, first of all, that you would like to be able to offer to our audience, which I will put all the details of Kim will be in the description box below. Is there a gift that you would like to give Kim?
Yes, I've got a 14-week love challenge. It's on my website. I also have a quiz on there, which is fun to take and interesting to know a little bit more about yourself. But I've got this 14-week love challenge that goes through all 14 of the 14 love is and isn't. And it's just a really interesting thing to do. It's super easy, comes in your inbox on a Monday, it doesn't cost anything. And it's short and easy. And it's just something to think about as you go through your week. And people have loved it. I've gotten a lot of great feedback on that. And so that is my gift to your audience.
That's wonderful. Ooh, I'm looking forward to doing that myself. Okay, fantastic. And as we're coming here, drawing to the close here, what 3 top tips would you give to somebody who is looking at becoming an entrepreneur, and they've obviously listened to us here and they're still like, oh, I'm not sure if I can do that. It sounds like it would work for Kim, but it wouldn't work for me. Maybe it works for Lucy, but it wouldn't work for me. What would your top 3 tips be with somebody that's like toying with the idea of becoming an entrepreneur?
Okay, first of all, I'd say if you're toying, jump in. A lot of people never toy with the idea. So if you're toying with the idea and thinking that it might be something for you, time goes by, right? And you can change your mind tomorrow. You can change your mind next year. But if you never put your foot in the water, you're never going to learn how to swim. And so if you're thinking about it, do it. Do it. Doesn't mean quit your day job, doesn't mean quit your paycheck, wherever that's coming from, because so many businesses are started in evenings and weekends. And so you can wait until that business is built up to something that replaces your income and then goes beyond. And so that's my first bit of advice is if you're thinking about it, jump in and do it. Just give it a try. Don't be 10 years out going, man, I wish I would have. You don't want to live with regret. Just live in the moment and go for it is the first thing I'd say. And secondly, I'd say give yourself grace. Give yourself grace. We all make mistakes. In business, I don't know anybody who's done it perfectly. And quite often, it's the mistakes that we make that we do the most learning, the most growing. And so, when a mistake happens, just pick yourself up and learn from it and go on to the next, go to the next day, the next moment. And so, give yourself plenty of grace and don't beat yourself up about anything. And don't compare yourself. You're you. There's only one of you. You are the only you there ever will be, ever is. Nobody looks exactly like you. Nobody is exactly like you. Nobody's walked in your shoes. You are a one of a kind masterpiece created in the image of the master, and you are the only you. So when you compare yourself to other people, you get into this rut of, gosh, I'm not living up to it, or maybe I'm better than them. Nobody's better than or less than anybody else. And so don't compare. People are on different paths, people are on different roads. You have your very own road, your very own path. And so keep that stuff out of it. Learn from people, absolutely, but don't compare yourself in a negative way.
That was 2, or was that 3? I think that was 2. Was there a third one? I'm pushing you
Yeah,
here.
yeah. The third one, I guess, would be don't judge. Don't judge. Judgment is something that it's easy to do, right? It's easy to look at somebody else and judge their actions, judge what they're doing. But again, you don't know where anybody's come from. You don't know where they've lived. You don't know everything about them. And so when you make judgments about somebody, you close yourself off to really understanding and knowing that person. So keep judgment out of it. Let people be who they believe they're created to be as you are being who you believe you're created to be. Give people the same grace you need to give yourself to be who you're created to be without any judgment.
Love it. Oh, so such great advice. So take action, jump in, don't judge. And it's like that feeling of, shall I, shan't I, shall I, shall the action piece. It's like you don't know until you do it. So just do it. And I love that advice of you can stop doing it next week or you can stop doing it next year, but at least you've jumped in, at least you've tested the water and you can feel what that feels like. And so that experience can be so beautiful on the other side of this fear, and it's just beauty on the other side of fear and being able to see that. Yeah, and then that comparitis thing, nah, push that away. Push that away. So thank you so much, Kim, for your time, for your expertise, for your heart, for your beautiful self. It's been absolutely wonderful having you on the High Performance Interviews. And to our audience, thank you so much for being here and thank you for listening. There will be another video coming up on screen, so I will see you over there. But for the moment, have an absolutely awesome day, and it's bye-bye from me and from Kim.